Kings 1 Part 8. Then all those greater by birth of Israel, with the leaders of the tribes and the rulers of the families of the sons of Israel, gathered together before King Solomon at Jerusalem, so that they might carry the ark of the covenant of the Lord, from the city of David, that is, from Zion. And all of Israel assembled before King Solomon, on the solemn day in the month of Ethanim, which is the 7th month. And all the elders of Israel arrived, and the priests took up the ark. And they carried the ark of the Lord, and the tabernacle of the covenant, and all the vessels of the sanctuary, which were in the tabernacle, and the priests and the Levites carried these. Then King Solomon, and the entire multitude of Israel, who had assembled before him, advanced with him before the ark. And they immolated sheep and oxen, which could not be numbered or estimated. And the priests brought in the ark of the covenant of the Lord to its place, into the oracle of the temple, in the Holy of Holies, under the wings of the cherubim. For indeed, the cherubim extended their wings over the place of the ark, and they protected the ark and its bars from above. And since the bars projected outward, their ends were visible from without, in the sanctuary before the oracle, but they were not visible farther outward. And they have been in that place even to the present day. Now inside the ark, there was nothing other than the 2 tablets of stone, which Moses had placed in it at Horeb, when the Lord formed a covenant with the sons of Israel, when they departed from the land of Egypt. Then it happened that, when the priests had exited from the sanctuary, a cloud filled the house of the Lord. And the priests were unable to stand and minister, because of the cloud. For the glory of the Lord had filled the house of the Lord. Then Solomon said, "The Lord has said that he would dwell in a cloud." Building, I have built a house as your dwelling place, your most firm throne forever. And the king turned his face, and he blessed the entire assembly of Israel. For the entire assembly of Israel was standing. And Solomon said, "Blessed is the Lord, the God of Israel, who spoke with his mouth to my father David, and who, with his own hands, has perfected it, saying, From the day when I led my people Israel away from Egypt, I did not choose any city out of all the tribes of Israel, so that a house would be built, and so that my name might be there. Instead, I chose David to be over my people Israel. And my father David wanted to build a house to the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. But the Lord said to my father David, Since you have planned in your heart to build a house to my name, you have done well by considering this plan in your mind. Yet truly, you shall not build a house for me. Instead, your son, who shall go forth from your loins, he himself shall build a house to my name. The Lord has confirmed his word which he spoke. And so I stand in place of my father David, and I sit upon the throne of Israel, just as the Lord said. And I have built a house to the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. And there I have appointed a place for the ark, in which is the covenant of the Lord that he struck with our fathers, when they went forth from the land of Egypt. Then Solomon stood before the altar of the Lord, in the side of the assembly of Israel, and he extended his hands toward heaven. And he said, Lord God of Israel, there is no God like you, in heaven above, nor on the earth below. You preserve covenant and mercy with your servants, who walk before you with all their heart. You have fulfilled, for your servant David, my father, that which you said to him. With your mouth, you spoke, and with your hands, you completed, just this day proves. Now therefore, O Lord God of Israel, fulfill, for your servant David, my father, that which you spoke to him, saying, There shall not be taken away from you a man before me, who may sit upon the throne of Israel, if only your sons will guard their way, so that they walk before me, just as you have walked in my sight. And now, O Lord God of Israel, establish your words, which you spoke to your servant David, my father. Is it, then, to be understood that truly God would dwell upon the earth? For if heaven, and the heavens of heavens, are not able to contain you, how much less this house, which I have built? Yet look with favor upon the prayer of your servant and upon his petitions, O Lord, my God, Listen to the hymn and the prayer, which your servant prays before you this day, so that your eyes may be open over this house, night and day, over the house about which you said, My name shall be there, so that you may heed the prayer that your servant is praying in this place to you. So may you heed the supplication of your servant and of your people Israel, whatever they will pray for in this place, and so may you heed them in your dwelling place in heaven. And when you heed, you will be gracious. But if any man sins against his neighbor, and he has any kind of an oath by which he is bound, and he arrives because of the oath, before your altar in your house, you will hear in heaven, and you will act and judge your servants, condemning the impious, and repaying his own way upon his own head, but justifying the just, and rewarding him in accord with his justice. And if your people Israel will have fled from their enemies, because they have sinned against you, and doing penance and confessing to your name, shall arrive and pray and petition you in this house, listen in heaven, and forgive the sin of your people Israel, and lead them back to the land, which you gave to their fathers. And if the heavens have closed, so that there is no rain, because of their sins, and they, praying in this place, shall do penance to your name, and shall be converted from their sins, by occasion of their afflictions, hear them from heaven, and forgive the sins of your servants and of your people Israel, and reveal to them the good way, along which they should walk, and grant rain upon your land, which you have given to your people as a possession. Then, if famine rises over the land, or pestilence, or corrupt air, or blight, or locust, or mildew, or if their enemy afflicts them, besieging the gates, or any harm or infirmity, or whatever curse or divine intervention may happen to any man among your people Israel, if anyone understands, having been wounded in his heart, and if he will have extended his hands in this house, you will hear in heaven, in your dwelling place, and you will forgive. And you will act so that you give to each one in accord with his own ways, just as you see in his heart, for you alone know the heart of all the sons of men. So may they fear you, all the days that they live upon the face of the land, which you have given to our fathers. Moreover, the foreigner too, who is not of your people Israel, when he will have arrived from a distant land because of your name, for they shall hear about your great name, and your strong hand, and your outstretched arm everywhere, so when he arrives and prays in this place, you will listen in heaven, in the firmament of your dwelling place, and you will do all the things, for which that foreigner will have called upon you. So may all the peoples of the earth learn to fear your name, just as your people Israel do. And so may they show that your name has been invoked over this house, which I have built. And if your people have gone out to war against their enemies, along whatever way you will send them, they shall pray to you in the direction of the city, which you have chosen, and toward a house, which I have built to your name. And you will hear in heaven their prayers and their petitions, and you will accomplish judgment for them. But if they sin against you, for there is no man who does not sin, and you, being angry, deliver them to their enemies, and they will have been led away as captives to the land of their enemies, whether far or near. And if they do penance in their heart, in the place of captivity, and having been converted, make supplication to you in their captivity, saying, We have sinned, we acted unjustly, we committed impiety. And they return to you with all their heart and all their soul, in the land of their enemies, to which they have been led away as captives, and if they pray to you in the direction of their land, which you gave to their fathers, and of the city, which you have chosen, and of the temple, which I have built to your name, you will hear in heaven, in the firmament of your throne, their prayers and their petitions, and you will accomplish their judgment. And you will forgive your people, who have sinned against you, and all their iniquities, by which they have transgressed against you. And you will grant to them mercy in the sight of those who have made them captives, so that they may take pity on them. For they are your people and your inheritance, whom you have led away from the land of Egypt, from the midst of the furnace of iron. So may your eyes be open to the supplication of your servant and of your people Israel. And so may you heed them in all the things about which they will call upon you. For you have separated them to yourself as an inheritance, from among all the peoples of the earth, just as you spoke by Moses, your servant, when you led our fathers away from Egypt, O Lord God. And it happened that, when Solomon had completed praying this entire prayer and supplication to the Lord, he rose up from the side of the altar of the Lord. For he had fixed both knees upon the ground, and he had extended his hands toward heaven. Then he stood and blessed the entire assembly of Israel in a great voice, saying, Blessed is the Lord, who has given rest to his people Israel, in accord with all that he said. Not even one word, out of all the good things that he spoke by his servant Moses, has fallen away. May the Lord our God be with us, just as he was with our fathers, not abandoning us, and not rejecting us. But may he incline our hearts to himself, so that we may walk in all his ways, and keep his commandments, and his ceremonies, and whatever judgments he commanded to our fathers. And may these my words, by which I have prayed before the Lord, be near to the Lord our God, day and night, so that he may accomplish judgment for his servant and for his people Israel, throughout each day. So may all the peoples of the earth know that the Lord himself is God, and there is no other beside him. Also, may our hearts be perfect with the Lord our God, so that we may walk in his decrees, and keep his commandments, as also on this day. Then the king, and all of Israel with him, immolated victims before the Lord. And Solomon slew sacrifices of peace offerings, which he immolated to the Lord, 22,000 oxen, and 20,100 sheep. And the king and all the sons of Israel dedicated the temple of the Lord. On that day, the king sanctified the middle of the atrium, which was before the house of the Lord. For in that place, he offered holocaust, and sacrifice, and the fat of peace offerings. For the bronze altar, which was before the Lord, was too small and was not able to hold the holocaust, and the sacrifice, and the fat of the peace offerings. Then Solomon made, at that time, a celebratory festival, and all of Israel with him, a great multitude, from the entrance of Hamath to the river of Egypt, in the sight of the Lord our God, for 7 days plus 7 days, that is, 14 days. And on the 8th day, he dismissed the people. And blessing the king, they set out for their tents, rejoicing and cheerful in heart over all the good things that the Lord had done for his servant David and for his people Israel. Thank you for watching. If you like the content on this channel, please press subscribe, the like button or comment below. We'd love to get your tips. See you next time.